Hi there, my name is Kendrick, and today I get to interview Monica. So, Monica, welcome.
Hi.
So, Monica, can you tell us your full type, please?
Yes, I am an ISTJ jumper. That's SIFI. Um, sleep, consume, play, flat.
And then your sexual modalities?
Oh, yes, yes. FF.
Right. All right. So, when you got your typing results back, what did you think and how did you feel?
I was kind of expecting some type of IJ, honestly, because I mean, sometime the week before I was vacuuming and the cord got stuck on something, and I had like a what I would call an observer freak out. Um, And I was like, oh, frick, I'm an IJ. I bet I'm an IJ. And also because like visually I look like an IJ. Like when I looked at the typing doc, yeah, I just look like an IJ. There's nothing. I just look like an IJ. Um, I couldn't tell though, what type of IJ. I thought maybe ISFJ. Um, I figured whatever type of sensing I had, it was probably feminine because I can't really I don't know. Like I feel like I have a lot of sensory issues, even if it's my first function. Um, yeah, and the I I I was actually kind of surprised at the FI, but when I watched my video back, I could see that I was making a lot of value judgments. Um, yeah,
Can you give examples of like value judgment that you were making?
yeah. Like at some point in the video, I was like, reading off the question on the site, and I said, "Uh, I don't like this question." Or I hate this question. Or yeah, just throughout the video, I could tell I was doing a lot of that. Like I not well, not getting other people's like value judgments. I was getting my own value judgment,
Right,
basically.
right. That makes sense.
Yeah, because FE would be getting value judgments from other people.
Right.
Something like that. Yeah.
All right. So, why don't we start this conversation with your feminine SI? Because before we started the interview, you already had observer problems and you said that you couldn't get your car to start and stuff. Can you share a little bit about like, feminine SI, bad memory, feminine SI, problem with things, even though it's your first function is really weird, right? It's your first and then it's like
Right.
giving you
Yeah.
problems and stuff.
So I'm gonna sit this on the floor because I noticed it's like really like part of my head is getting chopped off. So maybe this will make it better to see me. So another SI problem here.
Yeah. Live, live chaos.
Live, yes. Okay. Much better. Um, can you see me clearly?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, bad memory. Phew. Gosh, this is like nerve-wracking for me.
Oh, don't
Um,
worry. Take your time.
um, bad memory. Oh gosh. Let me think about that for a second. Um, well, yeah, as I told you recently, the whole car problem thing. Um, but before that, I actually had a much worse car problem issue. So, I bought this car from my dad, and it was like a refurbished car, and I would actually stall out in the middle of the road, and I'd be freaking out, like, oh my gosh, what do I do? I don't know what to do. So I'll like call somebody, and they're like, hold on, we'll come get you. But that's a bad memory for me. So that's why I got a lot of panic when my car just broke down and I was like freaking out because well it was just because it had the original battery. It's only a 2019, so it had the original battery in it, and I guess it needed to be replaced. Um, so that was the issue with that. So really, there's nothing like other mechanical wise that's wrong with it. It's just that. So yeah. I don't know if that's what you were wanting.
Oh, no, it's okay. It's I just want to hear from your perspective. And yeah, I think even when you were telling your story, you were still making value judgments. So it's kind of funny. So I mean, it's
Yeah, I probably was. Yeah. Yeah, with oh, gosh, I know we're talking about SI, but with the whole FI thing, like I said something. Okay, I'm in an Enneagram group, Enneagrammer. I know there's a couple of us that have come through the group and gotten typed from Enneagrammer because we heard about it from there. But I just lost my train of thought. But okay,
SI live. Hey, people can see it live. It's awesome. It's
yes. But
no explanation needed.
right. But when I got typed in there, I got typed I was between two types. I couldn't tell whether I was a 9 or a 6 because I felt like very strongly like I was pretty close to both of those, like somewhere sitting in the middle of them.
Right.
And people were telling me you seem like a 6, and other people you seem like a 9. So I was very confused. Like I'm like trying to like get other people's opinions because like I don't know all the time how I look to other people. Just So after I got typed a 6, I had kind of like a let's call it like an identity crisis. Because for a long time I thought I was a 9 and I just, try to almost like I adapted to that type, but I wasn't that type. If that makes any sense. And so anyway, someone in the group said, I think you might be an ISFJ. And so that's how that got on. I was like, wait, is that how I appear to other people? Like an ISFJ? Do I look like I have FE? Like, yeah. So that's the confusion with the FI and the FE. And then just feeling like I always need somebody else's opinion to, I don't know, solidify my identity or something constantly. Like, how does this person think of me? Like, just, I don't know. I'm a little confused about that whole thing, honestly. So,
Well, I think most mopes like sleep consume or consume sleeps are type nines because type nines is all about like sleep and sleep energy, right?
yeah.
But a lot of ISTJs are indeed type 6. So maybe they're both in your tri type if we're talking about the Enneagram. But
Yeah.
I think in the traditional Myers-Briggs, there's no emotional ISTJ. So it's kind of it doesn't fit. That's why I think in OPS it's a better fit for you because then,
Yeah.
if you do have FI, it's not like you have FE, And then
Right.
if you're double feminine, you're more like giggly and stuff. So maybe that comes across as FE like, but it's
Possibly. Yeah. Yeah. I'm very giggly. Yeah. For sure.
yeah, and you're also energy dominant. So,
Yeah.
it's like a lot of energy talk or like I guess when you talk to people, it's all about energy exchange as opposed to information exchange. It's like goofing around, and like having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I feel like some people like take things way too seriously. Like not that I view everything as like a game, unless it comes to like obviously like thing problems.
Yeah.
Like to me, a car breaking down is not a game. That's scary to me. But um, but yeah, like just like group interactions. Like some people are just like, no, you're wrong, blah blah blah, blah. And I'm like, geez, it's not that serious. It's just a theory, you know.
I think that word like wrong, I think that's like an IJ or IPEJ kind of talk, right? Like right and
Is
wrong.
it?
Yeah, right and wrong.
Ah,
Or
so
maybe
it's like my complete opposite, basically, right?
well we're both observers. So people problem is not where we're stuck. We're stuck with things like with your
Uh-huh.
car, for example. I've had car issues too in the past, so I can relate. Also my car dying, so I can relate. I actually bought one of those things that can jumpstart your car without like hooking it to another car. It's just like those little
Uh-huh.
kits. And then like
Yeah, yeah.
I'm so proud of it. Like I had a coworker, her car died. And I'm like, I have this kit. I run over to her, give it to her. She starts the car. I think she's an IJ. She's like, I'm gonna buy one right when I get home. I'm like, it's like obsessed with things, right? So weird. Like the
Actually, now I'm like, yes, me too. I'm gonna do that too.
yeah.
Yeah, because I bought a tire pump because my old car, the tire kept running out of air, and I'm like, what is wrong with this? Does it have a hole? I think it was just dry rotted. See, oh gosh, I'm so horrible at these things.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because you're ST last. That's why you have trouble with like doing things like properly. Because you know, even though you're like an ISTJ supposed to be like really good at this kind of stuff, you're blast
Uh,
last and you have like ST at the bottom, which is really weird. But like but I think like if you did practice it, you could get really good at it really fast because it's your first two functions, you know, SITE.
mm,
Um let's talk about your blast since we're already on this topic. So your blast is double feminine. It's fourth and it's SITE. Um but
okay.
but it uses your
Yeah.
first and your second function. So what I learned from ops is even if it's something is like your demon function, but it's your first and second, you can still get really good at it really fast if you just practice it because it's still like the stack, the function stack still matters.
Hmm.
So if you actually practice your blast, you would be shocked how good you are at using it. Now your blast is not gonna come across as like aggressive. Your blast is gonna be
Mhm.
like gentle, it's gonna be really friendly, it's gonna be like really, it's more like guiding people as opposed to controlling people, you know. But
Yeah.
when you did have to blast, let's say you went to work, like what do you do for work, by the way?
I work at a scrub uniform store. Sorry about the dog. I work
Yeah,
at a
of
scrub
course.
uniform store. Um, yeah, basically.
Do you have to teach people how to do stuff in that store?
That's an issue I've been having actually. So, I got a coworker. She's been here for about, been at that job for about, maybe 4 or 5 months now. Probably, yeah. Um, and you will tell her how to do something, right? Not saying you, I'm just saying like in general.
I get it, I get
um, and then she'll do something completely opposite, and then she'll say, "But you didn't tell me how to do that. Or you didn't show me." I'm like, "But I did. Like, probably 5 times by now." And it's constant. Like, I show you how to do this, and then she doesn't do it. She does something completely wrong, and messes up inventory or does something, and yeah. And so I have to I okay. I'm gonna say like I'm nice because apparently I've hurt her feelings. Um um not trying to, but like yeah, I guess she came to our boss and said that I had embarrassed her in front of customers, and I was like, oh, gosh. I felt like super bad. But yeah, I guess like I got mad because she did something wrong, and then I was like, "Oh my gosh, I showed you this so many times. Why? Why?" And then like she told our boss that I was like mad and gesticulating or something. I don't know. Like I move my hands around a lot. I guess when I'm mad, I don't know. Um,
it.
so I guess it's a blasting. Blasters like move their hands a lot, right? Or gesticulate. I don't know.
They like to go like this, like do this, yeah, like that, yeah.
Yeah.
If you're going like this, it sounds like you're just double feminine, with limp fingers, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what I was doing, but apparently, like, I was gesticulating around,
Yeah.
and it embarrassed her. And so, she went to the boss and said that, this thing happened, and so she's like, the boss is like, she doesn't really like conflict. Um, she's like, y'all just need to effing get along.
She doesn't give a shit.
So she basically like tells, okay, this is the situation, this is what happened. She told me this, so now you need to make it right. It's up to you to do it. So yeah. Well, I had heard that she liked flowers, so I brought her flowers, and I apologized, and so everything's fine now. But I have to like keep myself from like, I don't know, getting mad in the moment and saying whatever and doing whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Last, but I guess it comes out really, really wrong when it comes out. I guess I don't know.
I think you just perfectly explained double deciding right there. Like you didn't have an issue. You have no problem just like fixing the problems. Like here's a flower. Not a big deal to me, the people stuff, whatever. I'm just going
Yeah,
to this is not my life. It's just work, whatever.
basically yes.
Yeah. So okay. Let's go steer from the blast for now. We can come back later on. Let's go
Okay.
to your consume. Your consume's double masculine. It's NF.
Mhm.
So the first thing I want to ask you about consume is because you're an IJ, your consume is an ENFP's consume. So you have like an inner ENFP right there, and it's double activated. So you're like almost like a double activated ENFP, even though you're like an ISTJ.
Yeah.
And it's double masculine too. So it's like double masculine, double activated. Now the tricky thing here is that for IJs, from my perspective, the consume is the triggering animal. Like if when you use this animal, you will get triggered. Like for me, I have Blast as a savior, but Blast is like the triggering animal for EPs. So I still hate using it, even though I can use it pretty good. It's weird. It's one of those weird things. Because I hate ST, like as an ENFP. So for you, I'm gonna go over the different parts and see which part possibly could trigger you. And I have a guess what it is, but I want to hear from your perspective. So because you're an IJ, your biggest fear is chaos, right? But because you have such high consume, you can see chaos coming your way all the time. And you're a glass lizard too, right? You have like consume in your play in your first three animals. So double activated NE at the very bottom, right? So whenever you're using your fourth function, you get triggered, even if it's in a savior state. And because you're using it all day, you're gonna be
Mm.
extra like tense and anxious. Do you feel that way? Like, do you feel like tense and anxious a lot of times? Like something bad's gonna happen, like right around the corner.
Yeah, actually. Sometimes I'll just have unexplained anxiety. Like I don't know where it's coming from. But several times when I'm going home from work, I feel like I'm going to pass out because I'm having like a anxiety attack. Like I get like short of breath.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And
Um,
it gets worse when I have coffee, but I haven't drank coffee in a long time actually, because I've noticed that it was triggering it to get worse. Um, but yeah, like maybe like sometimes I get into like this like zone where I'm thinking about things.
yeah.
Maybe I'm worrying about something and then I start having like random feelings of anxiety, feelings of anxiety. Um, Gosh, it's so hard. Well, in my typing videos, I had made several because I didn't have very much phone battery, but also I thought that maybe if I made them in separate days, then you could see like my different states. So I did that. But I sent a one more actually to them, explaining how when I was younger, I had what I now know is OCD. So maybe that's the double masculine NF, because it involved like a lot of if I wear the color black, somebody will die. Just really weird, really weird,
Like NF
like
stuff.
weird stuff like that. Or like if I don't call this person and ask them how they are, something bad will happen to them. And the thought will just be there and it will just niggle and niggle and niggle until I do the thing,
Yeah.
and then it might go away. Um, and then I had a lot of like weird stuff too. Like people would tell me scary stories when I was a child. Like, well, I grew up in the Philippines because my parents were missionaries.
Oh, cool. I was
Yeah,
born there, by the way.
yeah.
Where did you where were you born there from? Like which city?
Well, I wasn't born there. I was actually born here in the States in North Carolina.
Okay.
But I think when I was either 2 or 4 months old, my parents went to the Philippines. So I basically lived my entire life until I was 19, and then I came back to the States. I lived that entire time in the Philippines.
Did you,
But they have a lot of like folk stories.
yeah.
So they would tell me stories like, oh, there's this well, the Filipino word is like an uwak. It's like a bird thing that they're human during the day, and then they turn into this man-eating bird at night, man-eating crow at night, and then they'll take their legs off, tuck them underneath the bed, and go fly and look for their prey. Like stupid stories like that. I mean,
Yeah.
and I would just lay awake at night, like, oh my gosh, I hear a noise. Is it coming? Is it coming? Just
Is-
stupid stuff like that. And I can't even see in the dark. So like I don't know if it's coming. Like, yeah, that's another thing. Like I have terrible night vision. Terrible.
Well, like I mean, I grew up there when I was a kid too. So is it the one where like the half the body is like cut and then the upper half is flying?
Yeah, yes.
And if you want to kill it, you're supposed to put salt on the lower half or something like
See,
that.
they didn't tell me how to kill it.
Okay, well that doesn't help. Like yeah, so that's you're supposed to like if you want to kill it, you're supposed to put salt in the lower half or something, while like the upper half flying around like killing people and stuff. Like
Yeah.
yeah. So okay, so I see what's going on for you now because I interviewed another person with Demon NE
Uh-huh.
as they're like an organizer like you are. This person was an INTP and she was like lead sleep also. So
Okay.
he was a demon. So I noticed with those with NE as a demon, you see negative possibilities. And
Yes.
it's also like crazy because it's not realistic because like a flying person is gonna go eat you like seriously like but then I get you because like when I was a kid I watched that movie Aliens, with like the spider goes in your mouth and then it blows up in your stomach and
Oh
like
gosh.
yeah, and
Wow.
I couldn't sleep also like thinking about that stuff. So but it's not real. I know it's like a fantasy movie, but
Yeah.
it's NE, right? So with NE you see like make believe stuff. That's scary. The real stuff's not as scary as like the make believe stuff, which is kind of weird. So
Yeah.
um okay, so that's a good example from your perspective of
That's
like
how I knew I had Demon N, but I wasn't sure because they had like I guess anecdotes for both like ESFPs and ISTJs and ISFJs about this sort of thing. So I
yeah.
was like, so which one is it? I don't think I have SE. I think I'm an IJ. So it's got to be one of those ISTJs. But it was hard for me to like figure out which one because very feminine SI.
Yeah, if it's like imaginative, like your fear is imaginative, I think it's more NE because like NE is very imaginative.
Yeah.
Um, like there was an ISFJ that got hype, and when she was outside, it was raining. She's like, it's acid rain. It's like, it's
Oh,
not. It's like, But anyways, when you were driving home and you were having like a panic attack ish, or you at least your heart rate was like elevated, you were like panicking. So they say that people who are lead sensory, they don't want to make a guess. And I guess for you, because you have double activate NE, you there's like a part of you that wants to guess, but there's like a part of you that doesn't because you're lead sensory. So there's like building up this pressure of like, hey, you need to guess, like something's prodding you. You need to guess, and you're like getting more anxious. So when you were having that panic attack in the car, what can you guess what you were scared of? Can you make a guess like what you were like freaking out about? Because you said you don't know, but I bet you that you do, but you just didn't want to guess.
I just have to dig a little deeper. Yeah. Um, let me dig. Let me dig. It's gonna take a couple seconds probably.
Yeah, go for
Um,
it.
because I'm thinking of a particular time. I think part of it was dark okay, the crux of it is I'm scared of losing control of the wheel,
Okay.
and um I used to have a fear of driving actually. But I usually forget that I had a fear of driving. But
Feminine sensory.
yeah, I'll be like, oh, I forgot I this, forgot that, forgot everything. I forgot my name, my birthday. I don't know. Yeah. Sometimes people ask me what my name is, and I'll stand for a second, like, because I was like thinking deeply about something, and then I'm like, wait, what's my name again? It's so bad. But yeah, that day, yeah, it really was. Like I think I was like thinking, and then all of a sudden I was like, what if my body just started doing its own thing? And then I started like thinking about like shoo into traffic, and it's getting
Yeah.
um yeah. The other day, actually, I say the other day, but it's like a couple weeks ago now. Um I was driving down the road and I was thinking very deeply about something. I don't remember what, again, feminine SI. And I think it was like whatever it was really like emotionally bothering me. Um and the light was red, and I was looking straight at the light, but I wasn't seeing it. So I almost drove into the red light, and I almost got hit actually, because I was just so out of it. And then I noticed at the last minute, and I stopped in the middle of the intersection, and then I slowly backed up. But I felt so stupid. I was like, what did I just do? I almost killed myself, and probably other people. Like, that's part of the anxiety, is that I'm going to do that, going to zone out and not notice things coming. Yeah, I think that's what it is.
I feel like having sleep savior and driving is like a bad combo. Like, because you go in your head and you're like on the wheel of the car. Like my sister, I think she's consume sleep, play blast ENFP, double
Hmm.
feminine. And then one of her best friends is I think she's an ISFJ, like blast sleep also. And both of them told me they've slept on the wheel before. They don't know how they got home. And I'm like, apparently it happens on like a regular basis. They just blank out.
That's so funny because it happens to me too.
And
And I'll say that, and I'll like almost like I obviously my eyes were open, but I'll like wake up out of that sleep processing
yeah,
and be like, oh my gosh, how did I get here?
yeah,
Like I could have died.
Jesus Christ. It's so
And
scary.
all the time, I'm like, I don't even know how I got from point A to point B. It happened.
You get scared when that happens when you get home and you're like, you snap out of it. You're like, oh my
Yes,
God.
yes. Or like sometimes I'm like, I'm going in the same direction to my friend's house or something, and then I'll be like basically sleeping with my eyes open, and then I'll like something will snap me into like reality again, and then I'll look around. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this? It doesn't look familiar, and I'll freak out, and I'll be like, oh, okay, this is the road that we go on every time to go to our friend's house. Remember? Okay. It's yeah.
That's scary. My girlfriend is also lead sleep. She got typed as an INTJ jumper, like sleep
Okay.
play blast. And we did a road trip in Las Vegas. We were trying to go to Utah, and we rented a car, and it was like late at night. So I was like really tired, right? So she's trying to be nice, which is awesome of her. So she's like, we can switch. I can drive, and you can take a nap, and then we can switch again later. I'm like, okay, great. So I closed my eyes. And then I got woken up because, like, when you're driving a highway in the US, they have like those like um on the side of the road on the highways, they have like those things that like it's like bumpy to wake you up, like tuk, 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 tuk,
Yes. Yes.
yeah. So like she was driving on that thing, and I was like, what the hell's happening? And I'm like, what? We're not in the main road anymore. And I can see her. She looks like she's like get falling asleep. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, so it's like same thing, like lead sleep, right? Like she's like she was passing out driving. So I'm like, okay, we need to switch now. And then we switch, and the moment we switch, within like 1 minute, she was out cold. And I was like, oh my God, we could have died. Like, you know, I'm sleep last, so I can stay awake, right? So I just stayed awake and I passed out when we got to our destination. But I was like, okay, you can't drive on road trips, like only on short drives, because we might die, you know. So yeah.
That's so, oh my gosh. It's relatable.
Yeah. So your story is like completely normal, I think, for your time, which is kind of scary though, because like a lot of people have sleep savior, you know, and they're like driving and stuff. And I'm like, oh Jesus, you know, maybe do you feel like you drive okay during the day though? Like when like in the morning or like in the afternoon?
Yeah, yeah, because I'm yelling at people. Get out of my way.
Okay, so being pissed off helps you guys then.
Yes,
Like, okay,
yes.
okay, so there you go. So as a lead sleep, just be make sure you're pissed off and then you won't kill anybody. You know?
Because I'm usually like running late because I slept in.
Yeah.
Sleep.
Yeah, sleep.
So I'm like, oh gosh, get out of my way. Or like people are like, just being annoying in the morning. I'm like, go away. Yeah, so it does help to be angry.
There you go. I think next time you're pissed off, you're like, at least I'm alive.
Yes.
This
Yes.
anger, this anger is the only thing keeping me alive. So stay angry. You should have a shirt, stay angry. Just kidding. Like, but okay. Let's go back to NF consume again. People are gonna be scared now of like lead sleeps behind the wheel. But anyways,
My friend is always scared when she's driving with me, honestly. Monica, seriously.
um, okay, let's go to the NF sleep again. So with NF sleep, part of it is also purpose and mission in life. Um, and because it's consumed, it's new. So what I'm trying to get at here is, do you feel like whenever you experience a new experience, whether that you travel to a new travel destination or you meet someone new or you are just in a new place in general, or you're doing something that you've never done before, do you feel like there's like a part of you that gets like a sense of like inspiration, motivation? You feel like, you have like a new sense of purpose in life, does that happen to you? Like, cause or not so much.
Yes. I get this like itchy, antsy feeling that I need to be going somewhere because I get feeling stagnant. I
Right.
just feel stagnant. Like it's weird because, being an ISTJ technically, like you should have like, you should want to be like, find this one thing and then just stick with it for the rest of your life.
Your box.
Yeah, this so-called box. Yeah, but I feel like my box is like, oh,
Yeah.
like I feel like I need, I don't know, something like stimulation or something. Which is why like I get that feeling when I'm watching like a really good animated kids movie. I get like super inspired by that. Or because I haven't gone anywhere in a while, like out of state. But yeah, it was exciting for me to go out of state when I did go. Um, like when I was in the Philippines, and then one time we went to visit my grandpa in Australia because my dad is actually Australian.
Oh, okay.
He has dual citizenship, actually, American and Australian. Um, and I went to visit my grandfather, and it was very exciting. We went to the zoo, which, by the way, I'm really pissed that I didn't get to meet Steve Irwin. Like, he had to go and die, and I hadn't even met him yet. That's so rude.
You went to Brisbane?
What's that?
You went to Brisbane?
Yes.
You go to yeah, I've been there. The Australian Zoo. Yeah.
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 That day he was out of his zoo at that time. I was going to the show that he was supposed to be in, and he wasn't there at the time. That's so rude.
Yeah.
And like a few years later, he got stung by a stingray to the heart. That's so sad. But yeah, that's unrelated to what I was supposed to be
Did you
talking
yell
about.
did you go to his grave and yell at it? You weren't there when I was there. Just kidding.
Yes, yes. But I actually follow his children on Instagram, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that was exciting. Going there and seeing all the animals and the koalas with the poopy butts, and yeah, so funny. Which is also actually sensory things now that I think about it. Like, I think with any dominance, probably it's more like the abstract, but I feel like I need some kind of sensory stimulant. Like my NE needs that. Um,
it's cool to look at animals. I don't think you need to be like lead sensory to enjoy looking at animals. Like I am lead any. I still love animals.
maybe. Oh yeah, you're right.
My girlfriend is like lead NI and double feminine, sensory, like extrovert sensing, and she loves animals still. So yeah, I think that's like a people thing. My
It's just a
sis
people thing.
my sister hates seeing animals. So I mean, like so I think it's like maybe it's like it's a person thing. I don't think it's like a type thing. Some
Okay,
people like
so
animals. Some
that's not
people,
related to functions then.
no, I don't think animal like I think it's like a person thing. Like my sister hates like animals. My youngest sister, like
Mm.
taking her to the zoo is the worst thing possible. And then like my I have another buddy. Animals hate him, right? Every time there's an animal nearby, they'll assault him, right? Because he also hates animals, and the animals know they hate that he hates them, so they attack him first. So,
Yeah.
um,
Wow.
but like I like animals. My girlfriend loves animals. Like I don't like all animals. I hate some animals. Like I don't like cats. You know, it's a weird thing. But
I
I
just
like
like male goats.
yeah
Male goats,
yeah.
not female.
You're sexist towards ghosts. But anyways, like that's gonna be your new tagline. I'm Monica and I hate male ghosts. But
Yes.
um yeah, so I mean it's like a thing, right? I mean I like big cats, like I like lions and tigers and all that stuff. I just don't like those house cats. I think they're like full of themselves. But like I like dogs. Like,
Yeah. Hmm.
but
Interesting.
anyways, we're getting off tangent here. um
Yeah.
okay, cool. So you do get like that sense of purpose, but from like an IJ perspective, I guess. I did notice because I have like a lot of ISTJ friends, like ENFPs and ISTJs tend to get along really well. So I
Mm.
have like a lot of ISTJ friends, and like it's kind of weird. One of my ISTJ friends, he's a cop, so I get paranoid being around him, even though we're friends, because I'm an EP. I'm scared of like control, right? So, but
Yeah.
like whatever. Like it's a weird thing. We'll be having
I'm actually scared of cops too, despite being an IJ.
oh that's weird. Yeah, like we'll literally like get coffee and he's wearing his like cop uniform, and I'm like, this feels weird. I feel like I'm in trouble. But we're friends. We're just having coffee, we're at Starbucks, you know. Anyways, like he loves traveling too, which I noticed. So I think a lot of IJs like traveling. It's just like I think that you guys want it in a more controlled setting. Like either like the tribe is with you to be
Mm-hmm.
around you, or it's familiar. If the tribe's not with you, it needs to be familiar, like you've been there before, So
Yeah.
I don't think it's like just because you're an IJ, you're gonna stay in a box unless you're consume last, maybe. But
Probably.
but
Yeah.
even with a consume last IJs, I've met some that still likes to travel, especially if they have like you know if travels inside the box. It's like a
Mhm.
weird thing, the box thing is like abstract. Like as long as it's like inside your box, it's fine. You know, I think that's what I learned about you guys. And
Yeah.
anyway, let's talk about your play now. Your play is NT. It's like figuring things out, problem solving.
Hmm.
And you have it as third. So you have like it's like in a hobby position or like a functional position. So can you talk
Yeah.
about
I was
when you come
thinking
to
about that.
when you work with other people, do you enjoy like brainstorming like a solution to a problem, like at work or something, or at home, like household related? Like, do you enjoy like back and forth problem solving thingy?
Yeah. I actually enjoy throwing out stupid ideas,
Yeah,
like totally unrealistic ones.
yeah. Okay, so it's NE, right? So it's unrealistic.
Yeah, like when I was in a relationship, um, the one time. It was about how to get past the law of you have to get the COVID vaccine. And I don't trust the COVID vaccine, and neither did he. So I'm like, well, you could get a prosthetic arm and put your arm inside of your shirt, and you stick the prosthetic arm in there, and then they'll just
Yeah.
put the vaccine in the prosthetic arm, or like just really stupid ideas like that. Like, I know they're probably not gonna happen, but they're just like hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Just stuff like that. But yeah, like I'll do that at work too, like totally ridiculous. Like one time my boss asked me where to put, because she likes to rearrange everything all the time, like make things more efficient. So she's probably also an IJ.
Yeah.
Um, um, and she asked me where we should put the cash register. So I said, well, we could hang it from the ceiling, or we could get a rolling cart and put the cash register on it. So then we could just roll around and do that, or just like ridiculous stuff like that. Like, I can tell it's not my first function.
You're just messing around with with this thing.
Yes, like it's totally play. I'm playing around with it.
Yeah, you're just having fun with it instead of like,
But somehow doing that, we end up coming up with a solution,
hey, there you go.
like I guess that gets their juices going, then they start thinking about other things, but I'm just there playing, and then I feel like I'm helping somehow, but I don't know how.
Yeah, I mean, you can jumpstart like the creative engine at least, of like, yeah. Because like I think NT play is like finding a solution outside the box. So even if your suggestion sounds ridiculous, like putting the cash register on the ceiling and stuff, it's
Yeah.
still like it kind of like makes people think, it's like, wait a minute, I don't have to think of a conventional solution. There must be a solution in the middle here somewhere besides the craziness that Monica is providing, yeah. Speaking of which, when you were talking about like the prosthetic arm and like the shot, it made me think when I was a kid. I'm NT first, right? So when I got in trouble as a kid, my mom used to like pinch our arm, and she would do it really hard. We actually get a bruise and stuff.
My
Um,
mom.
so one time, I have two sisters. So me and the middle sister, my youngest sister ratted us out for like bullying her or something. Like we said something to like upset her. So my sister, she likes to tell on us. So she ratted us out to our mom. So I know we're in trouble. We're gonna get pinched. So I use my NT play and I put on our winter jackets, and then I stuff the winter jacket with like some t-shirt. And then I'm like, my mom's like NT last, so she can't figure things out. So and
That's great.
she's consumed last also. So we go downstairs with like a big puffy jacket, stuffed with like a t-shirt. She pinches both our arms, and then me and my sister go back up, start laughing our ass off at like our sister. She's like, ha ha, nothing, nothing. So my sister got even more upset, but then there's like, it's like, what? We got pitch already. So yeah, so there's like a superpower with that NT play, I think.
Yeah.
You can get away with some stuff, anyways, let's talk about your sexual modalities. I think this is the last part we haven't covered yet. You are tester and you are visual. So being a tester, it means like you tester with SI. So it's a little bit different with SE people. So tester with SI, I find that you guys have like favorite scents, like favorite candles or food or whatever. Like, can you talk about like some of your favorite smell or scents or food?
Ooh.
Do you have like go-to scents or smell?
I was about to be like, I know that there's some scents that I absolutely hate.
Yeah, you can talk about that too.
I hate the smell of weed.
Okay.
Like, there's a type of weed, I guess.
Like the weed drug or like the weed plant?
Yeah, marijuana.
Okay, got it. I thought you know the weeds outside, like the weeds. Like,
yeah, I go smell the weeds sometimes. No, I'm kidding. I have sinus issues, so super sensitive to certain scents, and especially weed. Yeah, I there's a type of weed that smells really strong. Because not all of them do. I was told just that one type of weed. And yeah, when I smell it, I get like a sinus headache, and it turns into a migraine, and then I'm sick, like to my stomach. Like, so there's a direct cause from, I smell this nasty smell that I don't like. It makes me sick, so I hate it even more. There's that. But on the other hand, I feel like I have a lot of tolerance for stinky smells, honestly. Like, this past week I've been my boss asked me to watch her animals, and she has 4 horses. And one morning I decided I was gonna shovel poop, horse poop, right? It didn't bother me. The smell of horse poop doesn't bother me at all. Yeah, not at all. But just randomly the smell of weed does. I don't know. And I'll actually get angry when I smell the smell. Like, if I'm just passing by and I smell it, I'm like, oh my goodness, there it is again. I'm going to get sick. Like, probably because it's connected to, oh, it makes me sick and I don't want to be sick.
Right. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
But for sense wise, I like so hard because like my friend, she has very specific smells that she likes. But me, I smell candles. I'm like, oh, that was okay. Oh, that was okay too. Wow, this one smells like chemicals, but they're all chemicals. So so hard to. I feel like I love the smell of coffee. Actually, that's one that I do like, and I feel like if they made that a perfume, I'd totally buy that, and I just smell like coffee all the time, like a coffee shop. But I don't really have like a specific perfume that I like. No, not at all. I don't even hardly ever wear perfume actually,
What about
because
food?
a lot of times I'm allergic to it.
What about food? Do you have any like favorite food that
Favorite food?
like the smell of this specific food is like, oh wow, this is amazing. This is your favorite.
Hmm. I like the smell of bread baking.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot actually. Especially cinnamon rolls, like the ooey gooey, like
Yeah.
they're dripping with cinnamon and
Icing.
stick it in your mouth, and it's just like it's like a hug, you know. Um, yeah, I really like cinnamon rolls. But again, like food is like food to me. Like it's like one time somebody asked me like what I want, what I like, and I was like, I like, and I just randomly grabbed something out of thin air. I like cake. So I just said I like cake, but like then I thought about it afterwards and I was very confused. I was like, why did I say like cake? I could have said anything. Why cake?
Yeah.
So it's been a lot of like, what do I actually really, really like in food and perfume? Yeah. It's something that I feel like changes a lot.
So you're not picky with this kind of stuff.
No, not at all.
What about your visual memory? Can you share a little bit about that? Like, are you better at remembering things that you've seen before? Like, do you have a good visual memory, and do you also learn better from what you see versus like what you hear or um from kinesthetic movements?
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely remember things that I see better than being told something. Like if you tell me something, I'm gonna forget it. Probably within within the minute, not even the hour.
Right.
Um, but well, in the Philippines, my parents would ask me to take attendance, and I would forget to take attendance. So they'd ask me, so how many people were in that class? And I would say, oh shoot, I forgot to take attendance. So I very quickly would go back into my memory and remember who I saw in the building.
Yeah.
And then I would count the heads, and then I would tell them, oh, there was this many people there.
Is that
So
accurate?
that sort of thing. I do that sort of thing all the time. Like if I see it on paper, I'll remember it. Like, yeah.
Wait, is that accurate when you saw them? Like the picture of the people in the class just from your
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I would see them and then I would count them because I would freak out because like I didn't want to get in trouble with my dad. So I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't take attendance because I totally forgot. So I'll just like go back into my memory and remember like who was there
Yeah.
because of I saw them, I remember them.
Yeah. Cool. That's a superpower.
Yeah, it's kind of weird actually. Like I didn't honestly I feel like I'm so yeah, I was really confused about the modalities actually because like when people are describing like their memory, I was like, oh okay, but like when I got typed a tester, I didn't understand what a tester was.
Right.
But I can see that I'm very feminine. Like when I first actually heard of the tester modality, I was like, yes, that's me. I'm very feminine. I like pink. I like flowers. I'll just throw flowers at everybody. Yes, I'm very feminine. Um, then when people are describing their memory, I was like, oh well, I don't know. Am I really feminine? Like double feminine? Like I was confused about that. There's a fly. But yeah, I feel like my hands are really like just like
They're jelly, right?
kind of yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have soft hands too, so that's another anecdote. What else was I thinking of? Also, I don't want to be Vladimir Putin. I am not Vladimir Putin.
What's that?
I said, also, I don't want to be Vladimir Putin.
Oh, right. Yeah.
My exact type, but FM.
Yeah. If you were FM, you would have been a dictator.
I know. Oh heck no, I'm not Vladimir.
Not yet.
Anyways. Yeah. I'm trying to think of other like memory. Yeah, but sometimes it's not consistent either. Like my boss gave me a paper with the alarm, just 4 numbers for the alarm and then 4 numbers for the lock on the door.
Yeah.
I looked at the paper once and I was like, oh, I think I'll remember this. So then I put it away because then I'll just remember what I saw on the paper, the paper there. So well, I was coming home and what I remembered seeing on the paper was 1414. But it was actually not 1414, it was actually 1919.
Oh wow. That's a big difference.
Yes, because the 2 numbers, I had mixed the numbers together because the lock the code for the lock was actually 4469.
Yeah.
So I thought that the one underneath said 1414, but actually it's 1919. So it's not consistent.
Right.
So I can say that. Yeah.
You're not a true visual, you're still a tester first, so it makes sense.
Yeah. My memory is just not great. That feminine SI really just
Yeah.
and and I was just thinking that I feel like I have 3 feminine functions and one masculine, the NE. I can tell that that's masculine. And but the other 3, they're kind of like just blurred together. Like I don't know what they are.
Your FI stuff, you feel it's feminine, or you think you're pretty with your emotions?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought I had FE for the longest time, so I thought maybe that had something to do with the feeling.
Right.
But I think it's like if you mix like feeling and like FI and T together, technically it's FE.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I was just like mixing those 2 together. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. That's the hardest like thing to like but when I have like a lot of things that I have to memorize, I don't often like just looking at a piece of paper, like if the whole piece of paper is just a wall of text, I won't remember it. So I can say that it's probably not like 100% visual. It's probably a mixture of tester and visual.
All right. So Monica, I've asked you all the questions, so we will wrap up the interview from here. So just like to thank you for sharing more about your story. I especially love your story about the driving stuff. That was the best. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, take care. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you around the group.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
See you.
Bye.